Okay, don't have my normal sound setup today, so apologies if that's a little weird. This is from chat tournament number. Did I close the window? No, I did not. 38, round one. Delial versus Smokes. You can see it says Deli Smokes. I didn't record it with sound. I just had it in the background while I was doing other stuff. I didn't pay a lot of attention to the game, but something happened at the start that I have been thinking about for weeks. I haven't been playing any triple triad, haven't been recording any triple triad. Everything that's gone up, I recorded, like a month plus before I'm recording this video. But this game really stuck in my head. I think something really fascinating happened. And a big reason why it happened is because Smokes forgot that there was no same rule. But I also want to say I don't think it's a coincidence that this idea was found by Smokes or played by Smokes, even if he played it meaning something else, because he has actually talked about some similar ideas in private conversations that I probably shouldn't go extensively into our strategy talks, but he has talked about ideas like this. So this move was made as a mistake, but it is not a coincidence that it was Smokes who played this move. And it's going to seem like a normal move and an obvious mistake. And I think it's fascinating. I think, in a way, this is the most interesting strategic idea I've seen in a long time. It is one that is not in kind of my mental Rolodex of potential reasons for a move. It is somewhat similar. I made a video a while ago. Hopefully, someone watching this remembers about Akiyama. I think it was called Built Different Akiyama. And the idea was that Akiyama makes a type of move that I basically don't see anyone else make, or at least I don't interpret others as doing that. And what he would do, or I don't think I've seen it from him recently, so maybe he stopped doing it after I made the video, but a type of move he would do a lot is he would meet a corner starter with a center play that only set him up in one of the two squares. So, say one person plays in one, he goes in five, and he sets himself up great for two, but doesn't set himself up for four at all. However, he sets himself to have a very strong response if the opponent blocks two. So I think the conventional way of thinking of a five move there against a strong corner might be it needs to set me up both ways. Otherwise, they just block the way that it sets me up and I can't take the other way. But instead, he'd look a step further than that. He'd say, this only sets me up one way, but can they actually usefully block the square I'm set up for? If they can't play there usefully, then I'm going to have a really great square to play, and that will be sufficient for me to have good play, maybe even an advantage. And I thought this was a fascinating idea. And I think that's the closest idea to the concept Smokes accidentally comes up with here. And proving that it is a very effective concept is that, and I haven't checked with the solver or anything, but he's playing Delial and it holds a tie. And that is, and I think it holds a tie. I don't remember the rest of the game at all, so maybe not, but I think it holds a tie pretty comfortably, even though he forgot a rule. And so that makes this just a fascinating game. And anytime you see one of the really great players pull a strange idea, it is worth thinking about. Or someone pulls a strange idea against a truly great player, also very much worth thinking about. I should say, Smokes is a great player too, but obviously, um, Delial's built different, as they say. Okay, so Delial plays a half strong corner. And if we were thinking in the mindset I was talking about, the the Akiyama mindset, we might say, okay, if we wanted to go in five, we actually, I believe, I haven't actually checked. It looks to me like we don't have any move in five that sets us up in eight. But if we could play in five such that we have a threat in four, and we might not have a great card to put in four. Actually, 8295 kind of stops all our cards going in four. It combos every card in four except for 3299 and 5199. And 5199 is potentially comboed by 8872. So this is very much not the hand to do it because we don't actually have a threat in four. But you could imagine us going in five, making a big threat in four. Delial is forced to block four, and we can counter that either because we can combo a card in four 8 up, maybe 9-4-7-5 combos it, or 6-8-8-3. And if they have anything else up, 6-9-7-2, say goes in 1 and is safe while locking in 4. So you could imagine an Akiyama style move here, and you could imagine it working pretty easily. It seems very possible to me that chucking some card like 3-2-9-9 and 5, just saying, okay, I have a nice plus with 9-4-7-5 and 4. Maybe a little risky, but maybe I can get away with it. Let's just pretend we can. I'm not convinced we can here, but let's pretend we can. You're kind of forced to block 4, and then, or maybe forced, maybe you're not here, but if you are, I have a really good move in 1 in reply. Some kind of concept like that. We're going to see a different concept here, but again, that's the closest thing I can think of to this, and I think it's a really interesting concept. And specifically, if you like playing adjacent corners, this is a game worth really spending a little time thinking about. So Smokes plays 6-9-7-2 in 9, setting up a same in 8, but same is not turned on. Now, amusingly, Reye had sent a message as they started the game, hey, Smokes, because Reye doesn't want to play Deli because he lost to Deli in the last finals, and Reye is already in the finals of this tournament, so he's hoping for someone to knock Deli out. He says, hey, Smokes, remember that same isn't turned on. Hey, Deli, remember to lose, or something like that. And apparently Reye is pronounced Ray. I refuse to pronounce it properly. I'm too committed. You're pot committed. You get used to saying something. And if it was someone I'm not friends with, I would put effort into getting their name right because it's disrespectful. But, you should be disrespectful of your friends. So I'm going to commit to saying Reye. That said, let's return briefly to the game. Smokes didn't read that message till after he played this move and then went, oh no, because he reads that message and immediately knows the move I made doesn't work how I thought it did, and also, if I had just read the chat 3 seconds earlier, I wouldn't have done this. That said, I think this ended up being a fascinating move, because importantly, it does not set up a threat in 8. And so where is the square Deli would naturally build out from? If we think about the Akiyama concept, play in 5, set up 4, the natural square for the opponent to play is 4, and if you control them playing in 4, you have good play against that, right? Here, a very similar thing happens. We've not created a threat in 8, which means if Deli wants to lock in his half-strong card, this is specifically a concept against a half-strong starter, where we play an adjacent corner that fails to set up against the strong side, but we have something else really important, which is because we didn't set up, the square Deli wants to go is 4, locking in his card. But he has nothing good to put in 4. Either of his cards with an 8 up look just really awkward against 6-8-8-3 or 9-4-5-7-5 and 1. Probably would be played immediately, but maybe even potentially could be delayed. There are multiple ways to combo the cards with an 8 up. The card with a 6 up is comboed by 5-1-9-9. The card with a 3 up is not comboed, but could be taken by something that is difficult to take. Now here the 6-9-7-2 already came out of Smoke's hand. Maybe this would have been even better done with a different card from Smoke's hand to keep the 6-9-7-2, so that if anything with a 3 facing up went in 4, Smokes could take it with a 9 facing out and be safe. But of course Smokes made this really fascinating move by mistake, so we don't have the other versions to test. But really interesting concept, right? That fundamentally, when you make this move, you make this adjacent corner facing the strong side, but not setting up against it. The potential weakness of this move is that if they just block 4, they've locked in a card. But if you have really good play against 4, that move doesn't happen. That move's it's hard for Deli to ever play there. Deli doesn't end up with a useful way to play there. And so maybe next turn you just go 8. You're just playing to threaten 4, right? At some point you might take 4 yourself, but if they don't have play in 4, you're probably going to leave it open. If Deli plays in the distance, he goes somewhere like 3. Maybe you just go 8. Maybe you or he goes 2, you go 8, right? You take safety in 8 with a 9 facing out, and you just say, I'm attacking 4, and you don't have a good way to defend it. And this is just a really interesting way to play. Again, it didn't happen intentionally here, but I've sort of had this game ringing in my head for weeks of just like, this is not an idea I think about. And I think there are players that this is probably much more standard for. One of the kind of wonderful things of having triple triad be sort of everyone has their own version of how to play and their own thoughts about it is that we all have different concepts. And like, if you told me, oh yeah, Shadat did this every third game, I'd be like, yeah, sure he did. He always seemed weird to me in his style, but he was really good. This makes sense as something that might have been in his lexicon, but isn't in mine. I think it Smokes did it here by mistake, but I would not be surprised if Smokes has done similar ideas intentionally. I mentioned Akiyama. I could see someone like Seto. Deli has played every idea under the sun. Every time I have some idea that I think is some new idea, I then remember at some point or see some Deli game where he executes a very similar concept, and I go, oh yeah, Deli has every strategic concept he has at some point employed. I think he is one of the most broadly inspired players to ever play. That said, this is not an idea that I think about. And one thing that means is it doesn't have to be an idea you think about. But that's the thing about Triple Triad. There are so many good ideas that could work. And this is just one I haven't considered, but I just think it's so interesting of just play against the strong side, don't put anything near 4, and just say you can't play in 4 well. And I believe Deli went in 8 here, but I don't actually remember. Yeah, Deli goes in 8, and now Smokes has, ample choices of what L's to set up. He has clearly picked up his card quickly. Yeah, very quickly. Deli's barely made his move, and you can see Smokes has picked up the 5. I don't actually have a shot, I think, before Smokes has picked it up. Smokes has picked it up instantly, because it turns out, even though Smokes didn't set up a threat in 8, I think this is just a pretty easy position to hold, even against an absolutely elite opponent, which speaks to how effective a concept it can be. I suspect he's about to play it in 6, given that that sets up a plus in 5, and also if he were to play it in 4, there's a plus wall in 1 that he probably wants to dodge. It could also be going in 5, but yeah, 5 makes some sense. Okay, he puts it back down. Ends up switching to the other 9-9 corner, and eventually does indeed play it in 6. And you can see he set up a threat in 5. He has a really nice way to recapture if needed in 3, but probably won't be a recapture needed, but he has a big threat to go 5-1-9-9 in 3. He has a threat in 5. He has threats against the card in 4. Unless Deli has some huge setup, this is clearly a good L for second turn. He took this very odd idea and created a favorable L by mistake. But again, what a strange strategic concept. I don't have too much more to say about this game because I really just want to focus on his move in 9 as the core concept of the game. I think it was sound. I think the computer will show not only was he not losing, but that he had good play after it, where he just said, you don't have 4, so I'm going to sort of pretend attack the strong side and just you can't do anything about eventual threats in 4. It would be fun if the game is concluded with a move in. Okay, Deli just goes, okay, I'm ridding 4 from the board. I'm blocking that square. I'm putting the 1 card because 6972 is out of Smoke's hand that you don't have something to do with specifically. Smokes probably can't go 5 here. Yeah, because 9475 is comboed back in 2, and that combos everything. I think Reye was saying he thought Deli might have a winning shot here. I thought Smokes had played a winning shot here. I think I said Deli had a winning shot. I thought Smokes had played a winning shot here, but I miscalculated. Um, but this is actually just a really scary position for Deli. And obviously, Deli got incredibly unlucky that his opponent not quite misclicked, but like misbrained and ended up with a fantastic move. Um, and Deli did a good job to hold, but like Smokes had the advantage here. Like after Smokes' move, 6-8-8-3 and 1, finding a tie for Deli is not obvious because Smokes leads 6-4. He has 4 cards on board to Deli's 2. If Deli goes 8-8-7-2 and 5, then Smokes can just block 3, and Deli's 8-2-9-5 is no captures. If Deli puts 8-2-9-5 and 5, again, that doesn't capture anything, so 5-1-9-9 and 3, and 8-8-7-2 has no captures. So there's no tie in 5. If you go in 2 with 8-2-9-5, I can just go in 5, capturing 8. You capture 1 card back, I win 6-4. If you go 8-8-7-2 and 5, that does indeed set up 8-2-9-5 to have a really cool plus wall in 3, the 9 plus 3 equals 10 plus 2. But if I block 3, 8-2-9-5 actually only flips back 1 card and you still lose 6-4. So I think the only tie is 8-8-7-2 and 5. In 3. And I think that's what was played. But I, looking at this position for a sec, just totally missed this concept and thought Deli was going to lose this, which would have been, again, really cool for this move. But 8-2-9-5 has the plus wall against the 9, and we've made it 5-5. Yeah, so this gets the tie. So just a really interesting game. Actually, you know what? Let's flip over to the solver. I'll have to put in the cards, but I want to take a peek at this game because I think genuinely I haven't even put the cards into my database. I've closed the window now, so it was Delial first turn versus Smokes, 5-5. And let's see if we can remember the cards. This is always a good test to think about your feel for the game. So 6-9, 6-3 went in 7. And then Smokes played 6-9, 7-2, and 9. Deli blocked 8 with his 6-5, 8-7. Smokes played 3-2, 9-9, and 4. Deli played 3-9, 5-8, and 4. Smokes had played in 6, not 4, my bad. Deli played in 4. Smokes played 6-8, 8-3, and 1, which was safe because the 6-5, 7-8 was out of Deli's hand. And Deli found the only tie, 8-8-7-2 and 3. And I don't remember what Smokes played there. I guess we should bring it back up. One moment. Because I should have watched it to the end. But I thought this idea was so interesting. All right, Smokes plays 5-1-9-9 and 2. And Deli's last card is 8-2-9-5, which goes in 5. And Smokes remaining has 9-4-7-5. Yeah, okay. So those were the cards. Now that means the hands. Deli is 6-9, 6-3. I normally cut this part out, but I'm having fun just living in the world where this game was played. I don't know. I bet no one watching this game will be as striking to as it is to me. So I feel like I haven't given it due justice because it's just such a curiosity. And so maybe I've conveyed that, maybe I haven't, but please let me know if this because yes, it obviously happened because Smoke's brain, he never noticed there was no sand, sure, but isn't the idea kind of incredible? That he could concede so much and still have a very good position. Doesn't that tell us something so deep about the potential of what you can do with this kind of idea? That's what this game feels like to me. I put the rules in wrong. One moment. Oh, the game stays up for you. I just closed the window where the game was up. But this to me just feels like something kind of magical was found. Oh, I put in the cards wrong. It's 6-5-7-8, not 6-5-8-7. I just I feel like something changed. There's just a new tool out there from this game. And, for a lot of people there won't be, and for me there probably won't be, both because it's probably pretty rare this comes up. Okay, does that look right? That looks right. Sized a little wrong, so one sec while I adjust that. I normally cut all this, but for peek behind the screen, I guess, to how messy this is. Okay, so Deli plays 6-9-6-3, and Smokes plays 6-9-7-2 here, and The solver will take a little to evaluate here. Doesn't work. It was a losing idea. So Delhi played here, and after 3, 2, 9, 9, and 6, Delhi has one tie. Wow, so Smokes was winning this. Smokes earned a win with this idea. He didn't quite clinch. Yeah, and Ray was saying he thought Smokes should go in 3, and it looks like this does win, which makes a lot of sense. It's really hard to play either card here because 6, 8, 8, 3 combos it if either of the cards goes in 5. Yeah, like that's the classic finish. This just wins. Smokes got a winning position out of this idea. There's only one tie in this position. Delhi must find 8, 2, 9, 5, which does set up this combo back, which is hit by this combo back, which wins. So Delhi can't take that combo immediately. Oh, but he has this combo too. I missed that. Which is comboed back, but he has the combo to tie at the end. Okay, kind of weird to see, but the only tying idea here. So somehow, Smokes got a winning position out of this. Because really, in this position, only one square can punish you. Only 4 can punish you. And if you have control of 4, it's just fine that you don't have to threaten 8. That's so cool to me. So it turns out the solver says this doesn't work. But if you followed so far, you know it should only not work if there's a card that can be put in 4. And indeed, this is the win. This is the one card. We don't have 6, 9, 7, 2 ready to go in 1. There is not a great card to put in 1. 6, 5, 7, 8 control stuff. So we didn't fully control 4. And that's why this move doesn't actually work. But despite that, it got a winning position against, like, the best player. And honestly, Delhi's in amazing form right now. Delhi's playing just great triple triad. What a move. It's remarkable how often Smokes earns winning positions. He's not, like, clinical at converting. It's kind of like a Piggyman thing, except Piggyman does it very defensively and Smokes does it very aggressively. But Smokes' like chance creation to win games, and the volatility of it, like either he or his opponent is losing in such a high rate of games of his. He plays such dynamically complex games, it really draws stuff out. But man, this idea blew my mind. It's a bummer to me that it technically doesn't work, but it's pretty cool to me that in practice it did work. He got this phenomenal position. He was also clearly considering going here. Would this have been better? This concedes 2 ties instead of 1. Okay, very similar. Okay, 2 ties is a lot more than 1, but what a concept. Oh, this just really makes me happy. Like, it's just so neat to see how many different justifications for moves and ideas you can find in triple triad. Like, this is the kind of game I see. And again, I know it was an accident, but it's the kind of game I see and I go, wow, triple triad's great. You can play a move like 6, 9, 7, 2, and 9 and get a winning position against, like, the best. You can just do that. It's just a brilliant idea if you control 4. Because if you control 4, everything works great. You're going to have a threatened 4, and they're going to have the awkward recapture in 8, because you'll get to go in 4. You've also put out a card. If they block the in-between square 8, the classic thing to do, what Delhi did, you've made it easy to take in 4 and 6. You can set up all kinds of Ls. You know you have those setups. It just really works so beautifully here, and you don't even need the threatened 8. Now, again, it doesn't actually work because there was a card that could go in 4. But that says when you play like this, you really do make 4 the critical square. You really do. When you attack the strong side, but without actually attacking. Like, you feint an attack at the strong side. The key move for them is going to be defend the weak side, because you didn't actually attack the strong side. And if you just control that square, so it's sort of like this is possibly like a whole new thesis of replying to corner starters. Again, I may be way blowing this out of proportion, but like You have an attack on one side, you don't have attack on the other. But just as importantly, do they have cards they can put on that one side? If they don't have a card they want to put in 4, you can just chuck a card here. Like, I bet this holds. It doesn't set up any threaten 8, but we still control everything with an 8 up here. We still have the combos there that make those really dangerous. Something like this, we just get free safety. Same with this, we'd get double safety. We might not need to take it immediately, but we'd have it. I bet this holds. I bet this moves a tie on the same thesis as the game. Yeah, this moves a tie. If we follow the game line, say we play it like this. Okay, now this move doesn't work, so we'd have to find something different. But do we have a lot of ties? We have 11 ties here. This is not a particularly tricky position to tie. We have multiple ties in 4 and 5. We only have one tie in 6. Has to be exactly this card. I'm not going to spend the time to figure out why, but the point is, like, you can just play a card touching the strong side as long as you control this square of 4. And this is something I think Akiyama's really ahead of the curve on, but maybe the rest of us can get there. Of kind of there are some moves that just only need to control one square. If you control one square, this move type will probably work. And it's not an obvious square, right? Moving in 9, it feels like the connection between 9 and 4 is just a very not obvious square pairing. But maybe there are lots of pairings like this all over the board that are just not in my understanding. Again, I'm very good at this game, but there's a lot I don't know. And I think this is such a cool pairing of squares, such a non-traditional one, such an obscure one. So this is like, for me, the most exciting game to happen. Maybe in like the whole return. This is the game that most like goes, this is triple triad that I do not understand, but it works, and maybe I can come to understand it. And that's such a cool feeling and just thing about triple triad. So I love this game. This is one of my favorite games to be played. I don't care how accurate it was. I don't care that it was because Smokes forgot Same wasn't on. This is one of my favorite games. It's a masterpiece. It's an accidental masterpiece. I don't care. I love this game, Triple Triad.